All right, let's see. Good morning, guys. Today is Thursday, April 27th, and as usual, we'll be going over analysis for US 30, gold, and EU. Let me know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, you good.
Okay. So for US 30, you can see we have this static trend line on the hourly. So from this lower high to this lower high, and also a static trend line to the downside. And you can see right now we are rejecting from the established trend line on the hourly and also the 9 EMA on the hourly. However, you can see that we also have a possible death cross that's forming on the 5-minute. On the other hand, price is in a heavy demand zone. We also have a 4-hour bearish low and 4-hour bearish low here. So we do have a high time frame sell zone. So right now I am bearish on US 30. So I'll go ahead and mark this in. So we have this 4-hour bear. Actually, you know what? This would have been the setup right here. This bearish zone, change this to red. But I am bearish on US 30 right now, and we have a death cross. So I'm not worried about these demand zones. So for a sell on US 30 right now, short position, the ideal sell position would be a rejection off of this 5-minute trend line. That would be the best or the optimal sell area for US 30. Again, for today, the last 2 days I've just been taking reversal strategy trades, and I am up about what is it, 2% for the day. So again, I'm heavily in profit, so I'm not too keen to take too much. So 4-hour bearish, so we have a 4-hour bearish high here, 4-hour bearish low. The way we treat these zones, we divide them into two. Divide them into two horizontal arrays. So this is 497, I'll call that 500 to 430. So that's 70. Call that 35. So 465, that's the middle of this zone. And you can see it lines up with the trend line and possibly lines up with our entry. The only issue with this trade would be we are in a demand zone, but the way I've shown the previous 2 days, US 30 ideally tries to go to the furthest area, right? So same thing I drew yesterday. So I sent this in the Discord this morning. We did a markup on US 30 yesterday, right? So I talked about, even though it was in a demand zone, I was expecting it to go down to the lowest demand zone. And I drew up this pattern and I said this would be the best area to buy. And ideally also, I was testing it out also on the reversal strategy indicator that I have developed. You can see there was a buy available at the very bottom. And US 30 played out with that same pattern and shot all the way up. So even here, I expect US 30 to come down to do what? So to do this, go and reject on this trend line. So this is a static trend line, come down. So as much as it's breaking down this demand zones, just the way I said yesterday, this is what, daily bearish. This is around what, 33,315. So now this is the play I would be looking for US 30. So as much as it's breaking down this demand zones, it will ideally use them as demand zones on the way back up. So it doesn't have to use the demand zones right now. It can actually use these demand zones as supply zones right now and then use them on the way back up. So let me see if we'll get an entry here. So I'm waiting for the retest of this trend line. Ideally, so remember, for established trend lines, you can do a quick snipe. So in and out, a quick trade, but you only have one shot to do it. For this entry, I will wait for for how this candle will close. So I'm not gonna enter on the exact retest. I'll wait for the closure of this candle. So ideally, I'm looking for this candle to to retest and close below. But yeah, I am expecting a sell on US 30. So yeah, so how we deal with these zones, we have a filler trade at the top, and you see if you had traded this, I don't know. Today I finished the markups a little late. Let me see what we had on the markups. US 30 markups for today. So we already had the 4-hour bearish high, bearish low. That had already formed. But ideally, right, you enter the first filler trade at the top here, then enter the second trade in the middle and enter the last trade right here. Yeah, but I am still expecting a sell. If it goes away, then it goes away. But that is the idea behind the sell that we are trying to enter right here. With this trade, of course, use 0.5% risk. But to me, I'm bearish on US 30. And you can see, right, yesterday, part of the reason I also drew that markup is because of the structure. So I remember you got during the live session, if you're here, I drew up this structure on US 30. So I've said time and again, these instruments like to complete structure. So I was anticipating some pullback to the upside. Actually, wait, I drew, give me 1 second. So I actually drew this, move to the upside, downside, top. And then here I did say that US 30 broke all these structures to the left because you can see the lower lows on the hourly. And then I said this was the last saving grace for US 30 around 333 to 80, which is where I drew the markup for yesterday. And then we had a rejection to the upside. So eventually I still expect US 30 to go to 29,000. So you can see if US 30 breaks 33,200 area, there's nothing stopping US 30 to go to like 32,800 zone and whatnot. So yeah, I am still bearish on US 30. Just need to get the right trade for it. Gold, you can see we have this trend, right? So when I tell you guys establish trend lines, you have to be on the lookout for them. So gold closed below this established trend line on the hourly, retested, tried to close above, and then melted again to the downside. So gold is doing the same thing like US 30, right? As much as we're in demand zones, and this is another one we can use the reversal strategy for, because the last time gold was above the 9 EMA is 1995. So for me, I need at least a 150 pip move on gold. So gold to me should stay below the 9 EMA for at least 150 pips before I start looking for a reversal. So 150 pips from 1995. So 95 minus 15 is 80, right? So it's so far past. So this is perfect again for a reversal strategy. So here it's just a matter of waiting for the next time gold will close above the 9 EMA on the 5-minute retest and close above, and same thing, right? So here I can even put gold on this chart because this is the reversal chart. So for you, for everybody, this one is not available to you guys yet. Only the admins have access to this indicator for now. But remember, beginning next week, that's where, access to all these indicators will be by subscription only. It will be in the region of 100 to 150 bucks a month. I still need to decide on the actual cost, but this weekend I'll take off access to the signals, access to the indicators until I have that platform ready. So right here for this, for example, with this indicator, all I'm waiting for right here is a buy. So I just need to wait for that. I can even set up an alert for that. So right now, until we get that on gold, gold is as much as we're in demand zones, gold is bearish. We have a 4-hour bullish low, 4-hour bullish high. I'm not going to try and enter any filler trade because I'm looking for the high probable trade, which will be a buy. And you can see even then, right? How do we do these markups? When we have a hourly to hourly and above time frame, bullish or bearish zone, we divide that zone into two. So even in this case, if we had done that, you can see that our trades would have been invalidated because settings, change this to green since it's bullish. So ideally what we normally do would have entered a filler trade at the top, another trade in the middle, and another trade at the bottom. However, how do we analyze these zones? If your filler trade goes heavily against you and the market starts trending against you, you normally delete the remaining two orders, because ideally the filler trade is supposed to give you direction. So here, if you had a filler trade, you wouldn't have wanted to see this downtrend. You would have wanted to see a retracement to the upside, and that ideally would have told you, hey, this 4-hour bullish high and low is valid. But right now, price is very bearish, and I would rather try to catch the reversal for it. So here, I'll just wait for a buy to show up. So actually, I'm not even wait. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm not interested in sales. I'm only interested in buys. So I'll just turn on the setting. And I want you guys to observe how I'm using this indicator during the live sessions, so that you can know how to use it. So for me here, yeah, I'll leave this as 40. I'm still playing around with these settings, but right now I'll leave this as 40. We are using the 9 EMA to identify the breakout. We are using the close of the 9 EMA for the breakout. So here, personally, I am waiting for gold, and if that buy comes, I will go in with a heavy lot size. Let's see what structure we have, and let me know if US. So US 30 is coming back to an entry. So ideally, I'm looking for the retest of this trend line and closure in order for me to enter. And we are also in a 4-hour bearish high and bearish low area. So our stop loss is ideally above that bearish high, 4-hour bearish high, above the 15-minute bearish low, above all these previous highs. Here, what do we have? We have a 15-minute bearish high, and we have, oh, now we do have a weekly bullish low up here. Now, if price ends up reversing and possibly taking us out at stop loss right here, I would be interested to see how price will react at the weekly bullish low. But we do have a weekly bullish low here. So this weekly bullish low supersedes all of these bearish zones down here. And you can see price has been attempting to go to that weekly bullish low. So that's just an area to keep out on. The trades to me make sense. It is valid. The only issue I have with it is the weekly bullish low. But other than that, I will still take the trade because to me, the likelihood of US 30 going down, any retracement on US 30 right now would be, in my opinion, would be short term. Yeah, so gold, I'm not even going to try and look for anything on the live session. I'll wait for this reversal to happen on gold to get a buy on here. The other way, you guys, so you remember I talked to you guys about the zero lag EMA, right? There's also the zero lag 9 EMA. You can use that. I haven't used it, but I only use it to get earlier entries. But for me, the regular 9 EMA that has lag works for me. But the zero lag 9 EMA or EMA, it's a free indicator. I think it's called zero lag EMA. So this one that has 1,800 downloads, you can use that to try and catch early entries. But for me, it's very risky because you will have price will just stick around that EMA for a good amount of time. So I'm not interested in using it right now. So for EU, we are in supply zones. We do have a slight demand zone here. Let's see what the trend so far has been on EU. So this is a 433. So to me, this is not a trend. Not yet. When was price last above the? So 450. So about 40 pips. Yeah, so FX pairs, I consider 40 pips a trend. The only thing with a trend, you don't want to see such huge candles because this one candle alone accounts for 20%, no, accounts for about 50 or 60% of the trend. So when identifying a trend, you don't want to count such big candles as part of the trend. Now you can see on gold also, even while taking this candle out of the equation, you can go back to the 2000 area and you can see that's about a 26. No, unless give me 1 second. Yeah, that's about a 260 pip drop. So even regardless of this huge bearish candle, you can go back to the previous point where you had consistent downtrend. So EU, the only issue I have with it is this candle accounts for about 60 or 70% of the trend. But EU would also qualify for a reversal entry. The only thing, yes, we do have a demand zone here, but you can see overall, we have a supply zone. So this is what I don't like trading. I don't like trading in an area that has demand zones tied to supply zones. So I like what I'm seeing with, so for example, gold right here, we don't have any supply zones. We straight up only have demand zones. So when we get that reversal and that buy confirmation, price will more than likely use this demand zones as liquidity to move to the upside. But for EU here, as much as we can get a buy here, we are still in a supply zone overall. So EU would still be valid for a reversal. However, I'm not going to take EU. I'm going to save my margin for gold. I am in some other trades. So yeah, the AU from yesterday, I'm still in this trade because we entered, or personally, I did enter with the reversal right here. It had gone up because for this reversal strategies, personally, I am going for double the TP and double the stop loss that I normally use. So for FX pairs, we normally, on the live session, we go for 20 pips stop loss, 20 pips take profit. For me, in reversals for the FX pairs, I'm going for 50 pips stop loss and 50 pips take profit. And that's how I'm able to survive all these fluctuations. Now, price had gone up, but I was asleep, right? Price had gone up, ideally 50% of my and I'd gone in with like what, a 10 lot or something. Yeah, like a 10 lot. So price had gone up 50% of my position, but I forgot, well, I was asleep, so I couldn't set break even. And I haven't configured the trailing stop on my account. I'm sorry, my trade manager. But if you had configured to set break even at 50% or secure half or whatnot, you could have made some profits. But on the other hand, you can see we got another buy, even reversal. So remember, this reversal is not just it's ideally, this indicator trades like how I would trade reversal. So that's how it's ideally coded based on my own understanding of my own reversal strategy. So same here, right? We got this break above the 9 EMA and then we had some confirmation and then we got that buy. So in here, if I was awake at this time, I would have just entered a long position. Actually, it should be on this candle. Yeah, so this candle entered the same position, 50 pips TP, 50 pips stop loss, and I would have been able to exit this trade early. So around this point, I would have been in profit for both trades and made even much more money than I would have made just by the one trade alone. So yeah. So I'm still in that one. I'm in an AJ buy from yesterday. I'm up just by that trade alone. I'm up 1% on a 200K account just for, so because I entered odd JPY here yesterday. And I think, I did that on the live session too. I entered at, what is that? 88.358. So I think it was this one. Yeah, around here, 0.358. I entered this position with oh, also, so US 30 went above. Okay, so this is what I was talking about, waiting for confirmation, right? So you wanted to wait for retest of the 9 year, I'm sorry, of this trend line and closure below. And I don't know if there was probably, let me see if there was any news Thursday. It's 10 a.m. pending home sales. So there's, we don't have news yet. So this candle spiked up and went all the way up. So this trade wasn't valid, right? Because I said for this particular trade, it's for me to enter this trade, I needed to wait for the candle to close below the 9 EMA. So we get a retest and closure below. And you can see how you always, ideally, if you wait for the confluences to align, you're gonna avoid such fake outs. So there are days where you're gonna miss trades because sometimes, for example, US 30 could have come here, retested, and then dropped all the way back down heavily. So at that point, you could have missed that trade. But in days like this, when you ideally need to wait for the retest and closure below, you could have escaped to be caught out by that fake out to the upside. So let US 30 just do its thing. So this is the weekly bullish low I was talking about, right? So right now we closed above the weekly bullish low. We do have news in 5 minutes. So remember, we don't trade 5 minutes before or after news, but we have a weekly bullish low here at 33,518. Remember, these are zones that rarely come up. So just make a note of that. We rarely get weekly bullish lows. Now, what I would like to see for me to even think about doing a buy, I would like to see a perfect retest of the weekly bullish low and closure above, and then hopefully it's after news and we can find an entry right there. But until then, I'll wait for news to pass. Now you can see we also have a daily bullish high here. We have a daily bearish high. So it seems like US 30 today is trapped between large time or high time frame zones. So expect a lot of manipulation in these zones because we have weekly zones, we have daily zones that are both bearish and bullish. So still waiting for gold. I think this is the trade that we'll get. EU. So EU ideally, if this candle closes above the 9 EMA, it would qualify for a reversal strategy. However, I don't feel, let me see also, I don't feel too confident taking this, ideally because of this strong bearish candle. So what this strong bearish candle is telling you is that there's a lot of sellers up here. So whether it's manipulation or whatnot, there's a lot of sellers up here. So, and ideally if this was a news candle, so remember how we trade heavy news. So for example, if this was NFP or FOMC, you expect if the first 5 minute candle is bearish, you expect a retracement and then you enter for the continuation. So in here, you see we got that bearish momentum rejection to trap people who are trying to catch buys on this candle. So you have that buy candle that kind of trapped buyers. And then the next candle opened, went back up slightly, went down bearish. We had a bullish engulfing candle, but then the next candle kept pushing price back down. So here, to me, it shows me that, hey, there's a lot of sellers in this zone. So that's also why I'm wary of taking the reversal on EU. But if we get it, since we have demand zones here, let me see what so the reversal one is we are using 50 pips TP, 50 pips stop loss. If you want to use 20 pips TP and 20 pips stop loss, well and good. But keep in mind, the reason I'm taking this is because it's or that I would take this would be because it would be a reversal. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is not, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah. Yeah, for this one, I would definitely use 50 pips because we are in heavy, or we are in overall supply zones. Now, if it was like, and that's why I'm looking for gold. If it was gold, I would say yes, but here you can see we are in supply zones, and you can see a 20 pip stop loss is not that far away. So for this trade, I would rather use a 50 pip stop loss. So for this trade, I don't recommend, so that's the trade for EU. I recommend using a 0.25% risk. If we didn't have these supply zones, see, if we didn't have these supply zones, I would say use a 0.5% risk. But for this trade, enter with a 0.25% risk. Personally, I may not do that because I'm already up heavily for the day, so I'll just do what I like to do. Wait, did I hit profit? I hit TP on, interesting. Wait, what account am I looking at? Yeah, but that's the trade. It's valid. I'm not in the trade yet. I'm looking at the wrong account. That's why I was wondering. I was about to enter because I have too many accounts. I was about to enter on another account. Yeah, so this one use 0.25% risk, 50 pips, TP, 50 pips. stop loss, and personally I am getting in right now. Okay, and there we go. So I'm already up 1% from the AJ buy from yesterday. So, and I'm already up for the day about what, 3% just by the screenshots I sent you guys this morning. So I can be able to risk this. If you want to use our regular 20 pips TP, 20 pips stop loss, again, use the same risk. Ideally, that's the risk that I've told you, 0.25%. If you want to use more than that, well and good. But remember, we do have a high probable gold buy that's coming in. So for me, I would rather save my margin. But for me, I'm going in with a heavy lot size. But
Gold
if I
gold just closed above. So
on the 5 minute, no, it hasn't. So we are waiting for this next candle to close above also. So we need the next candle to close for gold, and I need a buy to show up here. If it doesn't, then ideally that might mean I don't have the settings. And there you go. There's that buy I'm looking for. But we need that candle to close, because remember, you can get faked out and this candle can actually close below. So that's why you always want to wait for confirmation. Yeah, that's see, it's interesting. Okay, we'll just wait for that. So EU, that's the trade, 0.25% risk. The reason we are using 0.25% is you can see we are in supply zone. So EU can keep melting to the downside. Also, this candle that contributed to the trend. So yes, this trade is valid. It is valid because you want to look for, let me put it on a clean chart. Let me go back to EU. How long till this candle closes? Oh, remember also, we don't take trades. We have to wait for the first. So this will align. I think there's news that just came out. So we have 2 more minutes before that candle on gold closes. So for EU, why did I take this trade, right? Always look for the last time price was above the 9 EMA consistently. So this is around here. So this is 467. So for me to even look for any reversal, I'm not interested in any. So I need a 40 pip, at least a 40 pip zone. So around 67 right here. Right there. So this is the trend. So I'm not interested in any buys that show up anywhere between this point and this point, right? I need price to drop below this point, and then if I get a buy that way, yes, I'll take that buy. But if I get a buy here, if I'd gotten a buy here or a buy here, I wouldn't have taken it because price was still within the trend that I'm expecting. So price has dropped below about 50 pips, came back and closed above, and then that's the buy that we are in right now on EU, and it's in profit. Gold, we need this candle to close in the next 48 seconds, and then I will enter that too. My main account is frozen, so I'll enter that trade on my phone. So for this trade on gold, if it does come up, our normal TP and stop loss on gold is 50 pips TP, 50 pips stop loss. But since this is reversal, I'm trying to go for a longer move. And you guys saw how reversals, and here we're in an area of liquidity. So you can see how a 50 pip zone is close, right? So ideally, this is what I'm talking about. I'm going for 100 pips TP and 100 pips stop loss. So that way my stop loss is below the previous swing low, below the current weekly low, below Friday low, and all of that. And that's the buy on gold. Let me enter that trade. What I forget, what lot size do I use on this trade again? But that's the buy that's on gold. And you can see instant TP. So for this trade, for the reversals, use 0.75% risk because it has a higher probability of winning. Lucky for you guys if you entered early. My accounts, I'm out here trading on the phone. I need to remember what lot size, because for me, I'm not risking 0.75. I'm just risking higher than that. Okay, there you go. Right, this is what I was talking about. That burst in liquidity. That is what you want to look for, and especially if it's in a demand zone. So right now, gold should keep pumping. and easy, right? 0.75% risk. So for me, I would rather be waiting for these trades, and then even the other live trades we take, right? As much as they're also good, I want to save my leverage for this huge trades up there. See, so AUD I'm up 3.2% already right now as we speak. This gold trade I got filled in a bit higher because my account was frozen, so I had to trade on my phone. So actually, but I did call the trade right here for you guys. So hopefully you got an early entry. You should be up 20, right? 20 pips in profit just in like less than a minute. That's amazing, right? Yeah, so EU is still pushing. I did say I don't like EU because of that supply zone, but gold makes more sense to me. Let's see what else. Yeah, so that was the analogy for EU. So if we go back to the gold chart, you'll see that we had that confirmation of the reversal. We had that buy, and it went straight into profit, and gold is still shooting all the way up. So there are so many ways of making money. So whether it's and the best thing you can do is to use all this together. So use the signals, use the reversal strategy, use what are the strategies? Use the live session strategies, use the confirmation, like wait for candle closures. Definitely that's gonna give you an edge. Look for retest of the 9 EMA, look for the retest of the trend line, look for the retest of the structure, and you'll be golden. There you go, about 50 pips in profit already. So if you went for 50 pips TP, 50 pips profit, 50 pips TP, 50 pips stop loss, you should be almost hitting your target. So this trade 0.75% risk. The EU trade we use 0.25. So if both of these trades hit, that's 1% for the day without even having to sweat it, right? Because we didn't get the confirmation for US 30, and you can see we didn't get this confirmation for this US 30 trade, but we waited and said this was the high probable trade, the gold one, and we entered that 0.75% risk. We entered EU 0.25% risk. So let's see for US 30, closed above, but this was during news. And right now US 30 is still coming back down. So for me to re-enter the sell on US 30, ideally, closure below this established trend line on the 5-minute and retest and closure below would make more sense. Now, again, here is where we can use this strategy for the 4-hour bearish high and low, but I'm already in 2 trades, and both of them are heavily in profit, or gold should be heavily in profit. Overall, I'm heavily in profit for the day, so I'm not really looking to take any other trade, to be honest. Remember, you only need 1 good trade a day. At best, on the live session, we definitely get about 3, but at least 1 trade a day. But now with these new strategies, we're getting a lot of trades. Now, if you guys want to test out US 30, so remember, the 4-hour bearish high should be your filler trade. So this should be a filler trade no more than 0.125%. So remember, you're not looking to make money from a filler trade. A filler trade is only supposed to show you whether, so I'm expecting a sell on US 30. Now, the filler trade, you need to wait for closure below here, and then you enter that trade with no more than 0.25% risk, 0.125 actually. And then don't use our regular stop loss and TP, use 100 pip TP, 100. So use double what we normally do. So same thing as the reversal strategy, we are using double what we normally use. So use double what we normally use. The next, if what you want to see is you want to see the trade going in your direction consistently. You don't want to see the trend going against you or the trade going against you, like you get filled in and then the trade goes against you consistently. So if you get that, wait for the next entry at half that zone and the third entry below there. But I'm not calling that on the live session. It's just to show you. So the 4-hour bearish high is around 33 497. The 4-hour bearish low is around 33 432. So divide that zone into 2 and do the 3 trades if you're interested. But right now, I'm already in this trade, so I would rather focus in a trade we are in, and that's in profit. So this trade went up at 82, wait, so remember, if you're 50% in profit, so the trade was what, 80, 81, 88. The trade went up 86, 86.44. So it's not yet 50 pips in profit. So ideally, when you get to 50 pips in profit, either set break even or secure half and set break even. Does anybody have any questions? If this trades hit, nowadays, if we hit like 1% or 0.75% in like a couple of minutes, I'm not going to be looking for any other trades. There's no need to push, to keep pushing if there's nothing else, or if the market has already rewarded you. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask. If not, I'll go over the 6 questions for today for what? For trading in the zone, the attitude survey. So we did 6 questions on Monday, did 6 questions Tuesday, did 6 questions Wednesday. So today we are doing the next 6 up to here. So if anybody has any questions regarding any trades we are in right now, feel free to go ahead and ask.
You think that it's if the price come back on gold, it can be still variable?
No, so if a trade goes, let it go. If it so same thing. If you guys remember on Monday, I missed a buy. So for me, I entered late, right? Because my terminal was frozen, so I entered on my phone around here. But if this price comes back down, so remember at this point, so have you gotten to hit break even? Entry was 81, 88. Break even would be 50 pips, so 87, 88. So ideally, you're not yet at break even, but so long as if it comes back down, I wouldn't recommend you to enter the trade, because ideally that will be a retracement of 50, about 48 or 49 pips. So if you miss this trade, let it go. Wait for there's always going to be other reversals. So if you miss that trade, let it go. Yeah, and I don't even think it's gonna come back down right now immediately before hitting 50% in profit. Because remember, the entry was at the open of this candle. So ideally it should go towards wait, maybe it did. 81.90 plus 5 is 86.90. The high of this candle was 86.21. Okay, so 50% is about this zone. So yeah, no, if a trade leaves you, I wouldn't recommend chasing it. Let whatever happens. And with this particular trade right here, it's 0.75% risk. So in theory, you should be securing some, but because I'm still counting this on the live session, I'll just let it run. So I'm only going to move to break even once we get to 50%, because that's my strategy and that's my policy. But if this trade already left you, it's up to you to decide whether you're gonna hop in or not. But I wouldn't jump in again. Not that it's not valid, but because I've seen even reversals happening on a reversal. So no, I wouldn't jump in. If it was me, I wouldn't jump in. If it's you, do you have other confluences that are telling you to jump in? If you do, then go ahead and do it. But I already called the trade. I'm not gonna say you can jump in. Okay, number 19. So remember, tomorrow we don't have a live session. And also I'm out on vacation beginning Saturday through Wednesday. So also Monday through Wednesday of next week, we won't have any live sessions, but you guys have access to, actually, wait, yeah. And beginning Monday, for access to any indicators going forward, it will be by subscription only. For access to signals going forward, it will be by subscription only. Now the live sessions will remain free forever, hopefully. So yeah, so you don't have to, honestly, literally, you don't need access to, and I say this, right? When I first started this group, I said that I wasn't charging what I initially started providing. So what did I initially start providing? Was the daily analysis for all these instruments, was showing you guys how to draw trend lines, showing you guys when to enter, when to exit. So that ideally happens on the live session. So that will still remain free. But when I first started this group, we didn't have any signals. We didn't have any indicators. We are using the 90 EMA is a free indicator, right? The 200 EMA is a free indicator. So we are ideally using a free indicator drawing trend lines, right? That's free. So all the other things that we did after the fact, that's what I started charging for. So the indicators and the signals. So you guys have had a free trial period of about 2 months or so, or 1.5 months. So at that point, you should now do the math and see, are you profitable? Do you think the signals are profitable coupled with the other strategies we have? Do you think these indicators are helpful to you? If they're not, then well and good. I'm not, as I said, it's up to you guys. I'm not trying to force anybody to do anything, but you can still make money with me even without all these indicators as well. Anyway, so that was just a by the way. So no live session tomorrow, no live session Monday through Wednesday of next week. 19, trading successfully requires a degree of mental flexibility far beyond the scope of most people. To me, this I agree. Because if you trade in the direction of, if you trade like how retail traders trade, more than likely you'll get burned. So for example, let's see, and this is why we can make money easily on this trading or trending strategies, because what do a lot of let me do a replay function right here. Actually, let me do it on a chart that doesn't have any markups. So right here, and that's also how I came up with the news trading strategy, because if I come in here, you see this candle, right? And this was before news. I don't think news had started. No, actually, that's a position. Give me 1 second. See. Okay, there it is. So let's say a retail trader is on the charts right now. They see that heavy candle right here. What do? They try to catch a buy, more than likely, right? Because they say price has to retrace. And I used to trade that way, to be honest with you guys. So they enter a small buy here. Maybe they don't, most retail traders don't trade with a stop loss. But let's say they were trading with a stop loss. That what happens? The market gives them like $5 or $10, and then price keeps going down. So what happens? They keep trying to catch the reversal right here. But for me, if I was trading, I would have waited. I would have actually, so remember after heavy news, let's see, between myself and retailers, I mean, we already know that I've made more money than them. But for me here, I would have waited and saw, wait, this is a heavy bearish candle. And today wasn't that, this was just it just came out of nowhere. But if this was like FOMC or NFP, or even you can trade the same way with heavy candles that come out of nowhere. So for me, after the first news candle, I wait for a retracement. So this retail trader, maybe they got $5, got stopped out or are stuck in drawdown. So I wait for that retracement, and then price comes back down. In any case, I would sell here. So I would sell here, use my 20 pips TP, go heavy, 20 pips TP, 20 pips stop loss right there, hit that. Oh, no, this is gold. I'm sorry. I keep thinking this is EU. EU did the same thing. Actually, let me go back to EU. Let me leave gold. I keep confusing the two. Okay, ideally it's the same thing, but I want to show, because I was wondering why EU, because EU definitely had that retracement candle. Okay, perfect. This is what I'm looking for. Replay. And once I get into positions, I don't keep looking at them. So I don't know whether we are down on gold or we are up. Okay, so it's coming back around break even, but I'm still in that position. Now, it was up to you. The trade was up about 47 pips or so. So it's up to you to decide whether you wanted to take any profit above here. So what is that? I'm looking at EU. Okay, so this was it. You had that bearish candle, and then you have a lot of people, or normally retailers, trying to catch the reversal. So that's when they get like a few dollars Now, for me, what I would have done, I would have waited for this because I expect after heavy news, you have some sort of retracement and then continuation. So I would have waited for this candle to close. I would have gotten that confirmation that, wait, this candle closed as a retracement candle. And actually most retail traders at this point would try to even scale in with a larger buy because they saw a green candle. So they go in heavy. On the other hand, for me, I would have sold here. I would have sold on the beginning of this candle and gone for my 20 pips or even 50 pips, gone in heavy, right? And then you keep rolling. So they're trapped in, so price comes back up, they even average in, or this whole time they've been just entering buys. So price goes into profit for me, goes into drawdown a little bit for me. And then what happens? Price comes all the way back down. And personally, I end up making that money. So trade, if you see an entry, ask yourself, why are you thinking that's a buy, or why are you thinking that's a sell? If you just think that, if your answer is because, oh, it has to come back, that is not a strategy. You want to see, okay, if you're seeing a buy after a heavy drop, use the reversal strategy. Go back in and wait for that confirmation, and then at that point enter. So yeah, so trading definitely requires you to have a lot of mental flexibility, and even thought-wise, psychology-wise, you need to, if you find, this is another way that helps me. If you find yourself in groups and they're talking of something that doesn't, to you, you just see that as, it doesn't make sense. There are heavier problems in the world. There are people who are always complaining in life. If you find yourself around such people and you're feeling like you don't belong, you've started that journey. But if you find yourself contributing to such conversations, people talking about, oh, milk is so expensive nowadays, and you're contributing to that conversation, you need to get away from such people and then start finding people who are talking about problems that make sense, right? How do we make our strategy, our trading strategy better? Now, that is a conversation we want to be part of. Number 20, there are times when I can definitely feel the flow of the market. However, I often have difficulty acting on these feelings. So yes, so this is fear of jumping in, right, Fojo? So the way to do this, right, back tests. Right now we have a lot of strategies. How frequently have these strategies worked out? And that's how personally I'm able to hold this gold trade, because I know this reversal strategy has worked out heavily in the past. So set a TP, set a stop loss, make sure that every position you're entering, oh, and I think I see that, right? So do you see one of the reasons why this trade could have reversed, right? So if you look at the chart to my right, what do we have? We have a trend line, an hourly trend line, and you can see price reversed around that zone. So remember, price is almost always going to go back and retest established trend lines and reverse from there. Now, if I had seen that, so I didn't actually check that when I was entering this trade. So actually, if I had seen that for this trade, we could have used the 50 pip TP, 50 pip stop loss, because I could have seen that price is likely to come and retest this trend line. So it's all about learning. So next time, it's also beneficial, as much as we're entering on the 5-minute. We also want to check the hourly and see if there are any trend lines, and see that, okay, if we did a 50 pip TP, 50 pip stop loss, are we likely, is our TP before this trend line? Because ideally here we would have wanted our TP to be somewhere before this trend line. And you can see we would have hit TP or close to TP if we went for 50 pips. But anyway, we live and we learn. So we'll do that next time. Yeah, so have a set TP, have a set stop loss. And if after your back testing, you've noticed that that strategy works out, just set and forget and let what happens happen. Best case, you can have a trailing stop so that you secure some profits along the way. 21, there are many times when I'm in a profitable trade and I know the move is basically over, but I still won't take my profits, right? So this would have been a perfect example right here. So actually here, if I'd noticed that we have this hourly trend line here, I would have just said, let's close out this trade around this zone. But I missed seeing that we have this hourly trend line right here. So right now, let's see what we have. So where is price headed to? So we do have a 4-hour bull. Now, if we did have a bearish zone here, I would be concerned. But right now, we have nothing but bullish zones. So personally, I will still hold on to this trade. Now, if we did have a sell, if we did have bearish zones and supply zones here, I would have just said if this candle closes below the 9 EMA, let's just get out of that trade at break even. So for you, if you're still in this trade and you held this far and it's all the way back and you didn't set break even, if this candle closes below the 9 EMA, you can close out of the trade. But for me, I'm sticking to this trade primarily because we have nothing but demand zones in here. So the probabilities are still high for continuation to the upside. Now, if price does come, in any case, if price does come back up here, I would be looking to close this trade out at around the previous high. So let me see. Okay, give me 1 second. Oh no, that's EU. So I'm seeing, as much as we have demand zones here, I'm seeing a possibility of scaling in and closing both of these trades out early. But I really don't want to. Feel free to do that. Use your confluence. So here, what do we have? We don't have any trend line, right? So this is a hanging trend line as is. On the 1 minute, this is an established trend line because if we go on the 1 minute, we'll see that we have a high low here. So ideally, what you'd be looking for, actually, wait. So for here on the 5 minute, let's just wait for a static trend line to be established on the 5 minute before we think about scaling in. So that's what I would say. Let's wait for an established trend line, and then we can think about scaling in. If you want to do it on you by yourself, well and good. But for me, I would wait for this trend line to be established, and then I would find a nice entry to scale in. Looking for price to come back to this high and then close both trades around that zone. Okay. Let's go back and keep answering these questions. No matter how much money I make in a trade, I'm rarely ever satisfied and feel that I could have made more. So nowadays, right, same thing. Somebody asked me a question yesterday. Do I think that I could have made more? I mean, of course, especially with this reversal strategies, I can always make more. I can make 10,000, 20,000. But if my risk to reward tells me this trade will give you 5,000, I don't care if it could have given me 20,000. I only care that my strategy, I stuck to my strategy and it hit. You don't need 20,000 a day. So that's the other way to think about it, right? If you keep telling yourself I could have made 100,000 or 20,000 or even 1,000, and you've never made 1,000 a day, so break your goals, and that's what I always say: break your goals down to daily and find entries that take you towards your goals. So if you've never made 500 a day, stop shooting for 500 a day, shoot for 50 a day, and then once you've consistently made 50 a day, then you can level up. But you can't climb a tree starting from the top. You always have to start from the bottom. 23, when I put on a trade, I feel I have a positive attitude. I anticipate all of the money I could make from the trade in a positive way, right? So it also, trading is heavily psychological. So, I think that 10% comes from analysis, fundamentals, and everything, but 90%, it depends on how you wake up in the morning, right? How do you start your day? Do you have any stress? How do you feel about the day? So if you find yourself waking up and you feel like today is not a good day and whatnot, maybe it's not a good day to trade, because your emotions will be involved, your analysis might be skewed. So every day for me, I believe that every day is going to be a good day. I believe every day is a good day for trading. I have a positive attitude in a trade, even though it's going against me. I know that, hey, you'll never, not every day will you get a no drawdown trade. I mean, this trade for us was a no drawdown when we entered, but since it's reversing right now, sometimes a trade has to go back and draw down. So always be positive, always try to have a positive mentality overall, even in life, and you'll do much better in trading and in everything else. The last question for the day, question 24: the most important component in a trader's ability to accumulate money over time is having a belief in his own consistency. To me, I agree with that, because I told you guys, if you start doubting yourself, if you start seeing yourself in drawdown and start thinking, oh my God, this trade might hit stop loss, guess what? That it might hit stop loss, or you might end up closing in drawdown and the trade reverses. So know that there's nobody watching you, such that if you enter a buy, the trade goes in a sell. There's nobody doing all of that. So long as you're in a trade and the trade made sense to you, let the trade ride out. Same thing, right? I've gone over this time and time again, saying that this 1 week when we were this consistent, and actually even we had traded live this last 2 weeks, but we hadn't started recording, we were making money pretty much every day. So I was fearful, quote unquote, that hey, I'm on the live session, I'm teaching these guys how to trade, but what happens if we have like 1 whole week full of losses, right? We lose today, we lose tomorrow, we lose whatever, right? So I was scared about how that might affect me, but I said, hey, don't think that way. The same thing you did on all these days that you're profitable, do the same thing. And that's what we've been doing every day. At most, we've been finding out what went wrong in a trade. And so, okay, wait, we missed looking at this, or I missed looking at this. And we've had profitable days consistently here. We've only had one losing day in this month so far. So yeah, so that's the last question for the day. We'll go over the last 6 questions on Thursday, but definitely for you as a trader, be going over whether it's 6 questions a day, 6 or 5 questions a day, and do them back to back to back to back until your answer lines up with like how a consistent trader should be. And also you need to read this book, Trading in the Zone. It will teach you like even just the first few chapters. It will teach you a lot of things. Now, this is the only trade we are in. I'm not going to call out any trade. So gold and EU are the only trades we are in. US 30, you can see US 30 is just consolidating. US 30 came from a supply zone within a supply zone. But keep in mind, we do have a daily bullish high here. So until US 30 makes a decision, I'm not looking to enter any trades on US 30 personally. But I still expect this pattern to play out. I expect US 30 to come back down. So it might be picking up liquidity from this daily bearish high. And we also have a previous monthly high here. So it might be picking up liquidity there. But you can see if US 30 breaks this supply zone here, US 30 is pumping all the way up to around 33,800 area. So keep in mind the 33,600 area. Let me see if there's a possibility for a reversal. So for me, a reversal on US 30, price has to go for about 200 pips or so. So the last time price was below the 9 EMA was around 33,400. So 33,600, yes, it would line up with a reversal. However, look at these candles, right? You don't want, even with you, especially for US 30, you don't want a trend to have like 5 or 10 5-minute candles, right? You want a trend to be something that has gone over like 3 hours or something of the sort. That's also something to add to the reversal strategy. But other than that, unless anybody else has any questions, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. But I'm sorry, on Thursday. Um, I'll see if I can carry my laptop. I'm not sure I want to be trading on vacation because I like trading with multiple screens. So I don't want to just trade with one screen. But for any scale in, if you're still in this gold trade and you want to scale in, wait for an established high low, and then you can use the trend line to enter any scale in. But for this trade, I'm still going to count it. Ideally, we went up 47 pips in profit. We didn't get to 50 pips in profit for us to set break even. But I did also say for this trade, the next time when we enter any trade on the 5 minutes, so whether it's US 30, whether it's gold or whether it's EU, we need to look at the hourly time frame and then look for any static or established trend lines on the hourly time frame. So for example, here we did have an established trend line on gold on the hourly time frame. So for established or static trend lines, you almost always expect them to be retested. So here, instead of going for 100 pips, we could have just gone for 50 pips and maybe just lowered our risk from 75% from 0.75%. But you live and you learn. So next time we know that if we are entering a trade on the 5-minute, we want to see if we're using a 50 pip TP, 50 pip stop loss, we want to see how far the TP and the stop loss are relative to the closest established trend line that can be retested by price. Other than that, does anybody have any questions? Okay. Today will be, I can, it's the same thing. We've gone over the what is it called? The attitude you have for trading. Today is going to be another heavy profit day for me. So, I'm already up like 3% for the day. I have a trade that's up. What am I up? Yeah, no, that's two. Yeah, I'm up 3% for the day. I have a trade that's up 1.5 for the day, and I'm already in this gold buy. So if this gold buy hits, reverse or goes back to the upside and hits, I'll be up heavily. And I'm also personally looking to scale in. But other than that, this is the last chance for you guys to ask any questions you have for any trades we've entered today or any new thing you've seen.
Hey, I was just gonna ask, are these is this session recorded?
Yes, so every session is recorded and I upload it to YouTube. So if you go to the Discord, you'll see, and you go to the YouTube area right here, I have a YouTube that I link all of these videos, or I upload all these videos at the end of the day. So if you go
Okay.
right, yeah. So every single session is recorded and posted.
Amazing. Was there any particular ones that you outlined the strategies that you use?
So all of them. So if you go over the first few sessions, and I definitely will record videos on each and every strategy so that it's separate from all these live sessions. But the first few sessions that I recorded, I normally went over. I don't think I had during all these strategies, I have talked about the reversal strategy, but I never talked about it too much in depth. But for the first few sessions, I went over drawing trend lines. I went over waiting for the retest of the 9 EMA, retest for the trend line, or retest of the established high-low period. And then you can go over that if you want to see that. Now, if you want to see the reversal strategy, you can go over today's session. I've talked about it, and especially yesterday's session. So yesterday's session, I went over the reversal strategy, ideally the first 30 or 45 minutes of trading. So yesterday's session is ideally the best to go over if you want to learn the reversal strategy. Now, the reversal strategy, my indicator will definitely help you to understand it, but there's also a manual way of doing it. So the first 45 minutes or so of yesterday, you'll see that,
Would you say you're focusing more on the reversal strategy? Because I know earlier you were more focused on the supply and demand zones and the trend lines and the EMA confluences.
So this is my plan. So going forward, I'm definitely going to be looking for the live trades, like how we were looking for this US 30. So I'll be looking for the live trades just without even the reversal strategy. But I anticipate on taking a reversal strategy once a day. And keep in mind, this reversal strategy, you can use it on any instrument, right? So we have like what, I don't know, maybe 50 instruments. So personally, since I trade EU daily, I'm able to see reversal on EU. I'm also working to have a scanner built so that it can tell us, oh, these 10 instruments have been trending for the last 50 pips. So what do? We'll go in there and look for maybe odd CHF and see, wait, odd CHF has been trending for 80 pips and we're about to get a buy on it, so that, then we get a buy. But yeah, so my goal going forward is to have the same thing as we find live trades. If we can't find live trades, we start looking for reversal strategy trades. And remember, the reversal strategy trades are the ones that we are going 0.75% risk. So if we can do 0.75% risk a day, or even though you want to go half the profit target and make 0.35 or point whatever, and add that to maybe look for one signal a day, look for one live trade a day, hey, you have on one day you can make 1% easily, right? Yeah. So for you guys going forward, for the signals, look for one just look for one signal. When you get a signal, go analyze, does it make sense? If you get a signal that makes sense, take it. don't focus on other signals. Wait for the live session. Come on the live session. Are we gonna find a live trade today? We didn't find a trade on the live session based on this, because this sell we are waiting on for US30, we didn't get a retest and closure below the trend line, so we didn't get that. Okay, that's fine. Let's wait. We got a reversal strategy for gold. We got a reversal strategy for EU. So you only need all of those, and you make about 0.75 in one day or something. But yeah, so that's my plan going forward.
Okay, thanks.
And
I
yeah,
know
and
you said you're traveling next week.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I think you mentioned you're looking to get the indicators out. Was it next week or?
Yeah, so everybody's access expires on Sunday, so the 30th.
Okay.
So by then I'll have put in the platform how to do the subscription. It will be anyway, that's what I'm actually about to go to the bank now and deal with that. But yeah.
Okay.
So they should be over the weekend. You guys should know how the subscription will go, and
Okay.
we can proceed. Yeah, but everybody's access is going to expire on the 30th. So access to signals and access to the indicators.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's
Yeah.
all my question.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else with a question?
Yeah, just a last question.
Mhm.
Can you explain again how do you do when you scale in another position, like for gold, for example?
So for gold right now, if I was scaling in, so if I just jump in here, right, ideally would be FOMO, right? So when, let me put it this way. So whether it's a scaling or whether it's an entry, always ask yourself, right, what are our three confluences for entry? So either rejection off of the trend line, rejection off of the 9 EMA, or rejection off of an established point of structure. So an established high low, right? So if you want to scale in here, ask yourself rejection off of the 9 EMA. So we had price closing below the 9 EMA. So the next entry, if you want to use the EMA, you need a closure above the 9 EMA and then retest and closure above the 9 EMA, right? But then you also want to ask yourself, of these 3 points of entry, which one is the most optimal? So the 9 EMA is all the way up here. We don't have an established trend line just yet, right? The next point of structure will be around stop loss. So then you tell yourself, so now I'm not gonna wait for the point of structure, which is ideally this lower low. So now I'm remaining with the 9 EMA and I'm remaining with the trend line. So at that point, you tell yourself between the 9 this trend line is still hanging, right? So, but the 9 EMA is so far above. So if I was to enter a scale in for a buy here, I'm ideally, if I buy here, do I have a better entry on the buy? Yes, a better entry would be on the trend line. So at that point, ignore the 9 EMA because you're doing process of elimination, right? So at that point, wait for to draw a trend line. Remember, to draw as an established trend line, you need 2 points of structure. So if this is to be a trend line, you need a high low to be created. So at this point, you just be waiting, right? It's all about patience. So you wait. So right here, this trend line is a hanging trend line. So until this is confirmed as a high low, or until another point is confirmed as a high low, you're still waiting. Once you get that high low, it means that that trend line will likely be valid, and we are in nothing but demand zones and bullish zones. So we don't even have a bearish zone here at any point, whether it's on the 5 minute, whether it's on the high time frame. We don't have any bearish zones. We have nothing but bullish zones. So once you get that established high low, wait for the retest and closure above the trend line and enter from there. Based on what I'm seeing here, the retest, if this is established as a high low, so remember, whether the high low is established here or here or here, you need for that to happen. And based on what I'm seeing here, if this is to be established as a high low, the entry you'll get will be off of the trend line and also off of the 9 EMA, because you can see the 9 EMA is coming down. So yeah, so wait for the high low to be established and then draw the trend line from the lower low to the high low, and then wait for the retest of that trend line, and then that's where you would scale in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions?
Yeah. So, bro, when you said the crypto EA for Saturday, I think it's for the weekend. When do you say you'll have that ready?
Wait, come again?
The crypto EA, you said you're having it built.
Yes, yeah.
when will it be like available?
So for that, I don't know. So I've had like 2 programmers drop out. So again, that EA I'm developing is not, I've never seen an EA like that, because ideally it's trading, it would be, as much as EAs are the issue with EAs is that sometimes you get trapped in a trend. So if pricing is in a downtrend, especially for most EAs that are martingale, if price is trending to the downside, the EA is just entering buys. For my EA, it's not going to be doing that. It's if the trend has changed, it's only going to be trading in the direction of the trend. But because of the complexity of that, and I've had like 6 programmers, some of this is beyond their scope. So I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't know. I just hired another lead programmer, so he says maybe in a week or 2 weeks. So anyway, we'll see. The last programmer say the same thing, like in 2 weeks, but yeah. So I don't know when that's gonna happen. Yeah. So we'll see. But when that comes in, I'll let you guys know. I also need to think about how I want to give access to that EA, because the issue with that EA is the same thing with prop firms, right? For traders who trade the same because that EA would ideally be taking the same positions, regardless whether it's being used by 1 person or 2 people. So if you have 5 or so people using the same EA on US 30 or NAS or whatever, you're ideally going to get flagged and you're not going to get paid out. So I need to think about how I want to do that. One way I'm thinking, I'll probably do account management with that EEA or passing challenges, because with that I can control what instrument the EA trades on. So for 1 person I can do it on odd USD, for another person I can do it with Euro USD, because the issue will be multiple people using it on the same instrument. And as much as we can say, okay, in this group we are currently like 50 people, so you use it on this instrument today and whatever, I mean, that's not going to be feasible in the long run. But if I have control on what instrument is being used on what account, yeah. But even minus the EA, you guys have this reversal thing. This one is ideally, it's not going to be better than the EA, but it's ideally one of the most profitable strategies. So for the EA, I think right now I'm leaning towards just doing account management with it as opposed to giving it to people. But anyway, we'll see. If I find another way that I can give it to people, I'll do that. But for right now, since I don't want people to get banned from receiving payouts, for right now, it's not going to be available to you guys yet, but it's not even developed. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes at the end. Any other question?
Yeah, bro. So when you said, the number, there's usually a number which should be like specific for every person. But don't you think people should just change the number for the
Oh, no,
year
no,
on
no.
the card?
You're talking about the magic number. No, no. So,
Yeah.
so the prop firms don't just look at the magic number. If you have, so remember this year will be taken. So if I'm trading EU with it and you're trading EU with it, it will enter the buy at the exact same time. So the prop firms also look at how the trades are divided. So so you had 100 people entering EU buy around the same time. That's a red flag. So it's not just the magic number, it's also the entry points and the entry times. So yeah, trust me, I've thought of it back to back, but I can't see any other way. So yeah, it's not just magic numbers. The prop firms look at the times the trades were entered, and the instruments the trades were entered. So yeah. Either way, whether it's through account management or whatnot, it will still be profitable. The best thing for account management is that I can monitor which account is trading which, and at the end of the day, because I can have, okay, for this person's account I'll only trade USD CHF, it's still going to be profit. It doesn't have to be on US. Sure, with US 30 gold, whatever, the profits might be quicker, but for even other instruments, right, I can go higher lot sizes. Either way, this year will be consistently profitable. It will be set and forget, but because of the complexity of all of these things, that's why it's taking a lot of time. And you can see gold is pumping back up. So, but you still need to scale in, you still need an established high low here. Yeah, but you can, right? There's other I'm guessing you guys have traded in the past, so there's other confluences out there. So if any of these confluences line up, this is just my own entry and exit strategy that I'm talking about, but I know you guys maybe have other entry points that you can use. Now actually we could have even, one of these days I want to trade on the 15-second time frame. See, 15-second. Now if we went on the 15-second, no, we wouldn't have gotten anything really. But on the 15-second, we are having a what? A golden cross forming. Anyway, it's just interesting, some of those time frames, because I can be doing them quicker. Okay, no, I don't, that's going to be something for another day. I don't want to confuse you guys. Yeah, but here you're just waiting for an established high low on the 5-minute, and then you can use that and draw the trend line and use that to scale in to another position. Any other person has any questions? I think I'll close my AJ buy. Let's see if we go to OJPY. So I've been in this, I hate holding trades for, oh wait, it's still up, because I'm in the AJ buy from here. See the reversal. Yeah, I think because I wanted to make 5 grand on it, but I'm up like 3.5 grand. So that's good enough. I entered this position yesterday here during the live session. So, I mean, AJ is still in an uptrend, but I'll close the trade right here. I hate holding trades across trading days. But right now I am up about, what's that? Close to 10K on a 200K. Guys, I'm terrible at math. As much as I make all this money, I'm terrible. Whatever 9K or close to 10K on a 200K edge, that's what I'm up. Yeah, does anybody have any other question? I think that's 5%. Yeah. Any other question from anybody? Okay. If not, if you need anything, feel free to let me know. I'll still be in the Discord, even though I'll be on vacation. I'll see if I'll carry my trading laptop and we can do live trading sessions on Monday and Wednesday. If not, I'll send you guys more details on the how to access the subscriptions. But other than that, if you choose to keep trading, use proper risk management. This trade, I'm still in it personally. I'll look to scale in. The EU trade, this one, remember, we used a 0.25% risk. The reason for that, the difference between the gold and the EU trade is that we are in demand zones for gold and we are in bullish zones for gold. We don't even have one bearish zone, but keep in mind, they can use any of these bullish zones as bearish zones. So if you don't feel comfortable on holding this position, you can get out at break even because I think price is in and out of break even right now. EU, you can see EU, we have a lot of bearish zones. We have a lot of supply zones. So EU is opposite of gold for now, as much as they move equally sometimes. But yeah. But other than that, I will see you guys when I see you. I'll give you guys more information. But tomorrow, definitely no live session tomorrow, definitely. Now, maybe Monday or Monday through Wednesday, maybe. That's if I carry my trading laptop. But I will see you guys when I see you. All right, bye.